Well, hello and welcome to the start of another weekly reading vlog. And yeah, today is a special day because today is my 2-year anniversary with my boyfriend, and I've never made it 2 years with anyone, so I am cautiously optimistic. But anyways, so today we have this really cool plan where we're going to make this Venezuelan dish I really love because we've been like talking about wanting to try and cook a weird dish together. Well, not weird, but a dish neither of us know how to cook. Together for a while, so that's how we've decided to celebrate tonight. So we'll see. If it turns out well, I will show you in a following clip the food. We will see. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard, but neither of us have done it. But I don't know. I'm excited. It's machada and black beans and rice, so that whole dish is pabellon criollo, which is like one of my favorite Venezuelan things to get at the restaurant. And yeah, my abuela is not here to cook it for me, so I must learn myself. But for my reading plans this week, I've got 3 things I am excited about. One is Middlegame. This I'm reading because it's the last Hugo novel I haven't read yet. I'm accidentally, between the booktube SFF and my own reading, have read most of the nominees except for Middlegame. And it's also my first Seanan McGuire, somehow, because she is super prolific. But yeah, I'm only 100 pages in, and I really like it. I don't know how to describe what's happening here. Yeah, what I can say is you have these 2 characters, and from birth they have been giving this kind of mystical alchemy related burden that's explained a little bit in the realm of this book as you read it. And they form this friendship, and this friendship is everything to me. Like, it resonates so hard with like child Angela and like her best friend growing up. Like, I don't know, if you were a kid who felt like being yourself in school was hard, it really like does resonate with you. And like, I did feel like my world was better at school when I found friends who, I don't know, liked to be academically challenged. That wasn't like a negative, or, yeah, stuff like that. So I don't know. And it's going to remain a platonic relationship, and I'm excited about that. At least it better. They're twins. So that's not a spoiler. They're twins separated at birth. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Actually, it's the first book in a while where like I haven't picked it up yet today, but I just keep thinking, "Ooh, I can't wait to pick up Middlegame." So hopefully that type of feeling continues as I read it. But yeah, just I was being told by Justine that Shauna McGuire does a really good job with like childlike stuff, like in her Wayward series for children or something. Those 4 novellas. So I think for sure if I end up really liking this book, I will look into them. I was also thinking about picking up the 1 novella event, well, after reading the previous, because it's on the short list for Hugo novellas, and I've also somehow read a lot of those. So, just, I don't know. I like lists. I like checking things off lists. It's very comforting. And I'm also buddy reading Watchmen with, gosh, I am blanking on names today. Like how you just see pictures and you don't remember, but I will find her name. Grace. Grace. She has a wonderful channel. You should check her down. I'll have a link below, but she just did recently a lip sync book tag video, which was so fun, and I'm still thinking about how I will do mine. It's been a nice, fun, like, brainstorm session in the back of my head. But we both were like, we want to read this. And I was like, well, I've had this copy because it's my boyfriend's, because as you all know by now, any physical book that's not from the library is probably his. And I don't read graphic novels often, but I like that this is complete. I really liked the new HBO show. I saw the movie in 2010 and it was fine. I didn't have any background info though, so I had nothing to compare it to. And so far, I've only read the first chapter, but I like that it's interspersed with portions of a book that was published by one of the characters. I I like I like the I like Rorschach. Not I don't like him, but I like that we've committed to his very disturbing thought process because he's weird. I'm excited to unpack him. I like how in every Watchmen setting, in every Watchmen setting, I really have liked unpacking the history and the present and figuring out where things are because it seems like you're never really dropped into the moment when they're superheroes. I don't know. And I don't know how to describe Watchmen to people. I think it's a very important graphic novel from what I know, but I don't read a lot of them. But it's like one of those stories that changed the tonal shift, I think, in the genre, or allowed for darker themes to be more prevalent in comic books and graphic novels. I could be really wrong, but that's what my boyfriend told me, and that's kind of what also at the beginning of the book this kind of says in like the intro. So I'm really liking it. It kind of starts off with the murder of the comedian, that's what this represents. And Rorschach's like telling other past superheroes like, hey, someone might be looking for masked people. That's where I'm at. So yeah, excited to read that. And then the short story collection I'm working on this week is, oh gosh, it's a very long name. I want to make sure I get it right because I read the introduction last night and I was really interested by it. But let's see, it's called The Assimilated Cuban's Guide to Quantum Santeria. And this is, I think, the same author of Sal and Gabby Break the Universe, which is not a book I've read, but a middle grade book I've heard people really like, who like middle grade books. And so he's a Cuban author and sci-fi stories, so obviously I wanted to pick it up after hearing about it from Jocelyn's channel. And I've read the first short story, and I'm excited to see where other ones go, especially with the intro I read and how it was all framed for me. So these are the things I'm hoping to pick up this week as I read. None of them, I mean, the Sean McGuire is fast-paced enough that I don't feel like I need to have like a YA on standby. Oh, and my audiobook is still Before They Are Hanged. I don't even think I mentioned it last week, but I think I'll actually finish it this week. I only have 7 hours left. I don't know. I have some amount of time left. So yeah, that is my update. All right, so reading is going. It is going. So in Watchmen, I'm about this far. So meh. And I'm enjoying it. I don't read graphic novels often, at least if you've been watching my channel, you kind of already know that. But I've been really interested in this one, and it's really interesting because it's also got this mixed media element that I did know about when Ryan read this earlier this year. I did know that at the end of each chapter edition, I think they're called chapters actually, there's some sort of nonfiction mixed media to help you fill out the history of the world, which I both hate and love. It's very weird. I'm very mixed on it because they're trying to be accurate medium, sometimes they're very dry, which like takes me out of the story. Let's see. Yeah, it's good. I can see why it's a pivotal graphic novel series. I still just like want to rewatch the TV show though. I just really liked the HBO TV show, which obviously could not have existed without this original work, but this one has just, it hasn't grabbed me like the TV show. Like I felt like the TV show was just so good. And I'm also still reading Middlegame, kind of hoping to finish that today if I can. I still have like 140 pages, so it's possible, but also like very maybe won't happen. But I love this book. So I think like I already said this earlier, but I love the relationship between Dodger and Roger. It's everything to me. I need to read more books with platonic relationships, I think, because I really, really love this one. It just resonates with me and my experiences. It's also just like a very intriguing plot. So I'm having a really good time with it. It's giving me Library at Mount Char vibes, which I also like that book, although this book I think is less gory and like is also less chaotic than Library at Mount Char. And it definitely has more of a foundational relationship you get to hold on to here in Middlegame that Library at Mount Char doesn't really have. But in terms of just like bananas plot, that's super interesting and you're super like, I think I'm on board, but I'm confused. Tell me this fact. I need to know what's happening. I have guesses. Like that thought process, I'm there. And every time I pick it up, I'm like, my heart rate's going. I'm like anxious. I'm like, oh, I want to finish it because I'm loving it, but I also don't want to finish it because I'm loving it. That's the type of vibe I'm getting. Like when I'm not reading it, I'm excited to sit down and read it. And I'm actually going to pack up and go to my boyfriend's balcony to go read it. So I'm very excited because I'm wearing a tank top because it is warm for Boston. It's like 70 some degrees outside and kind of muggy because it's supposed to storm later. So, you know, it's tank top weather for right now. Plus I don't know. I don't like farmer's tans and I went for a walk, so I just didn't want to have like a t-shirt line. I'm also in theory going to be in a wedding. I don't know if that wedding's still going to happen, but don't want to have tan lines for that. I don't know why. I really don't like tan lines. It's a very odd thing because I normally don't care that much about my physical appearance. But I don't know why. Tan lines are my thing, I guess. That's my silly little hill I'm going to die on. So yeah, I'm gonna go over there and read Watchmen and Middlegame. I've also been obsessed with Check Please. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad R mentioned it, and I remembered in the back of my mind that my little sib loves Check Please, and so I texted them, and they like never text me back. We have a good relationship. They just don't text me back, and they got so excited. They sent me the link right away, and I've been obsessed with this webcomic series. I laugh out loud constantly. I'm obsessed with the character dynamics. I am Again, it's one of those things where I want to finish it because I could easily binge the whole thing, but I also don't want it to end because I know it's over. And I actually bought my sib the 2 hardback books of it because it was their birthday earlier this month, and I already bought them something for it, but these were just too good. I was supposed to try and maybe save them for Christmas, but then they had a bad day, and I am a sap, and I'm weak. I'm weak. I won't buy anything for myself, but other people. Yeah, that's why I'm like scared of those wish list chains on Twitter that always happen. I'm like, I'd buy everyone a book. It's like I'd have to buy everyone something or no one anything. That's how my life is. But we were on our family Zoom thing, and we normally what happens is my grandma, mom, stepdad, and I, we all play Ticket to Ride on our little devices while chatting, and we request that my sib be there, but they don't have to play games because they don't like playing games. And we have a little camera on them, and they're just on the couch. They make pins, they do whatever, and this time they were just reading Check Please, and I just felt so happy. So those are the things I've been consuming. And yeah, I don't know what we're going to watch this weekend. I'm hoping Moulin Rouge, because I started it earlier this week, and I was like, oh my gosh, Ryan, I should make you watch this. It's actually like really good. Like it's if you haven't seen it, it's like it's a love story, so it's definitely like in that romance vein, but it's also like a very unique directing lens sort of thing. And so I think we're gonna watch that. Probably another Mission Impossible. Very exciting life in Boston quarantine. So, but I'm gonna go and eat ice cream on a balcony while reading books because that sounds perfect, honestly. Check in a bit. So I finished Middlegame, and I think it was a good ending. I was actually I just left a voice message for Justine because we've been buddy reading it, and I don't actually know what I expected from the ending. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because the title is Middlegame. So it's about the middle, right? It's about it's literally about the journey. That's literally what this story's about. And I definitely got that as I was reading it. I definitely adored the journey. I'm definitely really interested. I think I could be wrong, but I think there's a story within this story. There's a famous alchemist who wrote children's stories, and that children's story I think is going to be released eventually. Like I think Seanan McGuire is working on it, and I want to read it because there's a lot of allusions to it, but it doesn't exist. So like there's a lot of things I miss, like because I have to miss them. I don't have the knowledge, so I really want to read that. I'm just so annoyed because this and Library of Mount Char, I feel like I mentioned this in a previous clip, that the Library of Mount Char and this are similar for me, and I like them both a lot, and I definitely do want to reread both of them, but I don't like their covers, which is the most shallow thing in the world, but I don't love either colors, and the Library at Mount Char isn't even released in the UK, so it doesn't even have a pretty UK cover. And Middlegame, I think both the US and the UK is that hand. It's a hand of glory. And it's just, especially once you know what it is. It's like, why is that on the cover of the book? And I don't personally like that in each finger they talk about the New York Times bestseller or Hugo. Like, yes, wonderful author, lots of awards, but I like the cover to speak for the story more than the author. Like, I get it's marketing. I mean, who am I to stop someone from, like, making a living? So, yeah, that's me being shallow, wanting these books, but not wanting those covers. Now I need to go record thing because I have a better idea of how to approach a review that will make me feel better. You guys won't care, but I will feel better. So yeah, that's my Saturday morning thoughts. I finished a book and it's not even 2 p.m. So I'm feeling good. Check in a bit. Bye. All right, I'm going to end this vlog here. It's a little earlier than I normally do, although I have a pretty busy week ahead of me, so I kind of want to wrap this up so I can edit it and have everything set up so I can focus on some real world stuff for, just trying to help my anxiety. And also, I don't think I'm really close to finishing it. So if I was to hold it over to tomorrow, I don't really see that happening because I am pretty far into Watchmen. That's like how far I am. But this has been a lot slower of a read than I expected. So I originally was going to be able to read, I thought, 2 of the chapters a day, but I really can only read 1, maybe 2 a day. So a little behind on that. It's like I kind of expected it to be plodding and slow, but I don't know. I don't think I expected it to be this plotting, and also the mixed media that I mentioned previously is becoming more of a hindrance than a good thing. Like last night I was reading a Night Owl section, and at the end of it there's this 3 nonfiction pages on birds written by the character. So that's why it's there. It's like a real world thing by that character. Now, my boyfriend's read this, and I'm like, do I need to read this? And he said no. He's like, I'm glad I was here when you got to that part, so I could tell you you don't need to read it. And I just think kudos to committing to building your world, but this is also still entertainment. Like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I also just don't read a lot of graphic audio. Like, I don't read graphic novels often. Although I do think the images are good. The story has a couple points that interest me, but not that many. Like, we've spent most of this going over the past in the present. Like, everyone's just been nostalgic for the past, even like the bad parts. You have a character who knows everything but also nothing. I kind of think I know part of how it ends just because I have seen the movie and the TV show, which I love the TV show. It's so good. I would watch this. You don't need to read this to see that TV show. At least I did not. And I was fine. That TV show is so good. And it's only 1 season. It will only be 1 season. It's a complete thought. It's a wonderful complete thought. And that's also what I thought I would like about this, is that this is a complete thought. And I guess I'll reserve judgment to when I finish it in next week's vlog. But yeah, as it stands, just like the movie, it's just a weird superhero thing, because I saw the movie without reading this, and I was like, huh, well, that's not what I expected from a superhero movie. I mean, it was 2010, we were expecting Spider-Man, Iron Man, like that was what was coming out in those times. Oh, sorry if you heard the train. Someone was trying to cut off the train because people are idiots. But yeah, so that's what I'm reading there, and I also started getting back into, I think it's the Assimilated Cuban's Guide to Quantum Santeria. I don't know, I'll have an image up, but I have read the first 3 short stories in this collection, and my thought so far is that I think these are all just a bit short. Like, they're on the short end of short stories. Like, I think each of these were 30 pages. And I really like the writing style, but I keep predicting what's going to happen, and so it doesn't feel that good to me, like, when I get to the end. And then it's not that bad if I predict what's going to happen if I, like, have time with characters or a world that I like, and they're 30 pages. So what this is all really telling me is that I want this author to write an adult book, because he is the author of some popular middle grade Sal and Gabby Break the Universe, I think is one of them. And so all I really want is him to write a sci-fi book, because he's playing around with some cool ideas. But so far, at least on my initial impression of 3 short stories, they're all kind of on the shorter end. But I do love the Latinx lens. I think it's really cool. Sometimes it's done very subtly, sometimes it's more overt. Like in the one I just read, it was a Puerto Rican physicist, and in it he really, he deals with his identity, with his Latinx self, and I really thought that was interesting because I personally do that a lot myself. So yeah, I'm intrigued about it, but now I need to figure out what I'm going to read next, and I have no clue, so you'll find out in next week's vlog, because that's the end of this one, where I finished Middlegame, I'm almost done with Watchmen, and I continued this short story collection, which isn't as much as normal, but I'm really happy with the week because Middlegame was amazing. Like, any week I read a book like Middlegame is a good week. Oh, I always forget about it, but Before They Are Hanged, I am 3/4 of the way through that, working on it. I don't know, I'm bad at audiobooks, even though I like this audiobook a lot, just bad at them. But I will probably finish that one next week. I keep saying that, but it has to end eventually. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. I'm such a dummy. I also finished the first book of Check Please, which is the first 2 seasons. I think there's 4 seasons. And it's so good. Also 5 stars. R showed it to me. It's amazing. Yeah, I think I've already gushed about it in a tag video you've seen before this one. Hypothetically, I don't know. I think that's how I'm uploading things. But it's so good, so wholesome, everything I wanted. I don't read comics like I was talking about with Watchmen. I don't do that. And I loved this. It was like, if you need something that will make you smile and laugh, like if that's what you need, Check Please. It is so good. It is freely available online. It was a webcomic first. I purchased the books for my little sib, and they love them. Just, yeah, read them, consume them. They're great. I do know about hockey, and that I don't know if that matters. I think some people have read them and really love them who don't know hockey. I laugh because I know hockey, and I'm like, you're right. That's so true. So, because they have little segments that teach you certain hockey phrases, and listen, it's just perfection. You need to read that. Now I will actually officially end this vlog.